The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. I'm your host Eunice Mugo. Today on the show we are talking about New Year's tradition around the world. What is the New Year tradition that you grew up knowing, that you found, and you're always asking yourself questions as to who brought about these traditions? Who said this should be happening in New Year's? Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. I'm not alone today. I have gentlemen with me who are going to help us to understand better about this tradition and what we need to learn and unlearn, and new things that you can implement along the tradition, because tradition is the things that you found being practiced that we can unpractice and practice something new. I will allow them to introduce themselves. Welcome, guests, starting with you.
Thank you so much, Eunice. My name is Pastor Silas Amandos. I'm happy to be here, and I want to wish all of us Happy New Year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
And to you, sir.
Thank you, Eunice. Hello, viewer. My name is Benjamin. I'm an education specialist. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming the first day of the year. You're looking good.
You too.
Thank you. To start with, the New Year tradition. Man, me growing up, New Year tradition, to me, crossover by the jana usiku midnight bila baruti, hiyo si New Year, by the way. Yeah, and still I still find it amazing. I'm over it, but again, if I don't see children around me, neighbors, burning stillwares and just playing along with it, and the sparks going everywhere, which is also dangerous. It's not New Year then, and also the sherehes and everything. When you're talking about New Year traditions, what are we talking about? And what are these traditions that you are looking back and saying, these things are there? If you don't see this, this is not New Year.
I think from my end, when you're talking about New Year traditions, these are things that we came and we found it happening. That every 31st night of December, crossing over to the first day of January, the New Year, you find that there are things that people do on the aspect to see to it that they are crossing over to a new year. So these are things that if the adults do, the children do. And sometimes if you ask people what's their implication and what's their meaning, some even don't know. Sure. Because they just found everyone doing it. Like, for example, the way you have just talked about it, the baruti, then you're waiting some few seconds to 12, you are counting or countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then you scream, you shout, you jump. And then there are those who have the aspect that on such a year, I must go for sherehe, I must take the kinywaji. That there's that mindset that I am living this year. It's like I'm starting afresh. I'm starting something different. It's like I'm forgetting whatever happened in 2023 and I'm starting a new chapter in 2024. Like there's that aspect and the imagination in our minds that I'm a new person. I'm no longer the Silas of 2023. I'm crossing over, so I've forgotten these, whatever challenges I had, I will not see them again, because these are new year. So I think that's the mind that people have, that when they are crossing over, they are doing the sherehe, they are jumping, they are doing what? It's like we are starting something new. And so to me, I feel that there's this aspect that we need to sit down and ask ourselves, whatever I'm doing, what am I gaining? And what is it bringing a change? Like for me, I tell people that me, I have a different mindset. My new year is usually my birthday. To me, that's my new year. These other things, for me, it's not a new year. It's my birthday because I feel this is when I'm counting a new day. Okay? But now, still, there's still that part of people celebrating the 31st, the calendar way. that now the calendar is saying it is a new year. I know Benjamin may speak against what I'm saying, but we are good to go.
I'm looking at Benjamin when you're saying your new year is your birthday, and I'm like, wait for it.
Yeah, wait for it.
You know.
I don't know, but I think I agree with you. I also from the school of thought that New Year's for me is my birthday. Depends with what you identify
Eunice, tell me,
yourself as a birthday
You don't
before
jump
you
up.
attack me.
You don't jump up during the crossing
No,
over
actually,
shout.
no.
and burn the
I used
steel
to.
wire.
I used
steel
to.
wool
I
you're there.
used to until I came to grow and I realized, by the way, this thing I left it now. Now my juniors are the one doing it,
Thank you.
and I do not.
And I will tell you why you
tell
left
them
it.
not to. I also encourage. I also go out of my way, go buy those things that they do
And
need
I'm
for
very
them
sure why-
to enjoy, because I'm no longer going to enjoy that speed. But I count myself a new year, a happy new year to me. It's the day that I'm celebrating my birthday.
And I know the reason why you now have that mind, that pure mind.
Please help.
You know, after the Christmas, people have spent almost everything.
That's so lame.
And now they are welcoming now the cabbages and the school fees and the rent.
The challenges of
Everything
Of
has
January.
come. Now they come back. No, let's talk. Let's talk.
Let me
Now they
ask
come
you,
back. They
how
come
do you,
now.
How do you know that my birthday is not on the 31st, your 1st of
No,
January?
no problem. No problem. What I'm talking about is we are talking about now what we found. And because we are so much rigid into copying and pasting, you know, the branding, you know, that branding that we found. Now because there was Kimbo, nipatie ile kasuku inaitwa Kimbo.
Kimbo, yes.
Ama nipatie ile Kimbo inaitwa kasuku. Nipatie ile Blue Band inaitangwa? Inaitwa ile ingine?
Prestige.
Prestige.
Ai, wewe
That
utafanya
branding,
tukue
nipate ile-
sued na hizo branding
No, it's
bwana.
true. It's true. Let me tell you one thing. We, as human beings, are used to branding things. And because we found it that way, I used to see that day, you know, that time when I was growing up, not like you. There was no electricity everywhere. And then that time is when we were using radios with the batteries. Zimeisha, mnaunganisha kitu kanatoshana hivi battery kama 14. Zishikanishe moto, unatoa unaanika kwa jua, ndio mweke mziki mkiruka. And people are playing drums, wengine wanapiga masufuria, you know, that kind of a thing. Yes, of course, it still happens in the hometowns. But one thing that I want to say, there are some people who are trying to convince them that I'm a new person. Just as Silas was saying, people are trying to feel like, now I'm a new Benjamin. I'm not the Benjamin who was there last year, having many challenges and difficulties and hardships. You know, that is the same word of the heart, which is so deceitful. Now it is lying to you. You did not make any resolution. You have nothing in writing. As you know, Pastor was saying something. Yeah? Was saying that you need to have a plan. You need to write things down. You need to think about what you're supposed to do. You need to have a mentor who is leading you in your dreams. And sometimes you have invalid dreams. How do you imagine even becoming the president of America and you don't have even a passport? It's like a person who is imagining to become a driver and he does not even have a driving license. He's only doing like this with his hands. And then it's thinking even a car can go when you're doing like this. Because they see the matatu drivers doing like this. So they assume this is driving. You need to have your heart. You need first to understand your heart. You need to learn the word of your heart. And so that you can tell yourself all these desires. You know, if I'm unable to control my desire. That's why sometimes even you feel people, they start the year with a very low gear. Talk to many youth. Talk to everybody. They will tell you when they were starting the year, they started the year with no hope at all. Many challenges. Where are these many challenges? You spent everything that you had during Christmas, and now you're to the new year, you have nothing. And you have bills waiting for you. How can you start that with much power? You start that with the low esteem, thinking that, hey, manze, we will die. We will die. We are not there.
I think that is starting the new year at a lower note, because once you start thinking negativity, because what I've seen over the years is that new year has that vibe of, like you've just mentioned, everything is new. Because starting with, I remember when growing up, nguo ni mbili, ya Christmas na ya New Year, and you cannot mix the two. Hii ya New Year lazima ikae tu hapo. The whole week mpaka New Year ifike, hiyo siku lazima ushaenda.
Wale watu wa nguo za Sunday za kwenda church.
Unachoma. Because now thinking what you've just said, that aspiring to be a driver and yet you do not have a driver's license. Someone told me ati mwanzo wa kununua gari unaanza na bucket ya kuosha hiyo gari. It's a dream. Depends with where you're starting your dream from. Now, moving on. The traditions that we are talking about today. And the things that we found there, it is there calendar-wise. People have different notions about it. Benjamin has just mentioned about starting it on a low note of you have spent a lot, and this is where reality slaps you, like you have school fees to pay, rent ndio hiyo. If you travel a country or outside the country, you have to come back.
Anza kuambia mama
transport iko huko juu.
Pate fare.
Mama uze kuku tupate fare. You know, but again, we take a lot of pressure to the village and to whatever places we are going to celebrate this tradition New Year thing that comes along. It's Christmas, then New Year a week later. And the pressure that we take to maybe the village, it's too much. Because them, they have the notion of expectations. People from the city, watoto wa Nairobi, watu wa Nairobi. Those of us who don't know the difference between a sheep and a goat. Now, this pressure, are they even necessary to start with? Like he has mentioned, when you're in the village and you have to come back, you're doing your calculations, you minus some cash because you overspent showcasing of how well you are at this particular time. When ndio sponsor wa kila kitu. But ikifika ni siku ya kurudi, mam ndio anajua tu vile atagaramika.
Ama aende akope kwa chama.
Is it even necessary in the first place? Because from my school of thought, if I cannot afford it, why then go through the hassle? I think that is where I can, maybe elder tells me you have a weak heart, but I'd rather deal with the weak heart than go through the, to me it's humiliating. If I'm coming to you to celebrate with you, to be with you, then why should I come with a gift of 100 and come out of your sherehe with like, I've coughed you 1,000 plus, and I've only brought you 100. Makes no sense.
Sure. I think one of the things that we need to ask ourselves is, why these celebrations?
Sure.
Number one, the Christmas. Everything starts from 25th of December. Why do we celebrate the Christmas? And if we have the understanding, what happened on Christmas, because it is not a man's idea, it's God's idea. It is God giving to man a solution to their problem. And the solution was Jesus Christ being born on the form of a man, so that he can come and help us and save us from sin. But we forget that particular dimension that is about giving. Okay? God gave what was best. But for us, we take from 25th or through maybe to 2nd of the new year, it's about ni kupiga sherehe. It's about showcasing. Eating what I've never eaten. Getting a new cloth. Going to a place I've never gone. No, that all, and then we forget that the house I was in December, I'll still be in January. I need to get the rent for that house. In January, kids are at home. Like for example, right now, indeed, our kids closed for 2 months, and the whole of November and the whole of December. And unfortunate, some of us are not prepared that next week they are going back to school. We have not yet even paid school fees for them. And then the beginning of the week, we want to go and beg the head teacher that kindly just allow my child to be in. You understand the pressure that is there. And the pressure is not there.
I'll pay you by the end of the
I'll
month.
pay at the end of the month.
And
And
see
even
you
we
at
have
the-
even of saying that January is more longer compared to other months. That the 40th day. That as if January we are paid on the 40th day, not on the 30th. Because of what we overspent and we forgot that nothing stands still, waits for you. Time will not wait for you and say now you are celebrating, then you shall keep something pending to await for you that after you have sobered up, then you will come and move on. Things keep going. So I think it's for us to know and ask ourselves. Yes, we found ourselves doing this. Because I think, for me, the time I was born, we knew that actually things like chapati were to be eaten in December. Okay? So all these other days, you could eat ugali and what, and you could await. And I remember on 24th, you could prepare that particular cloth, knowing that this one I will put on tomorrow on 25th. Oh, and that morning, you'll not be forced to take a shower. See, these other days you could be pushed. Go and take a bath. But that day, you do it and you go and put on that cloth, then you wait for the meal. Okay? For that particular chapati. Because you know this is it. And then on the fast, again the same thing. This is the beginning of the year. We must eat well. And then there's that tendency that how you start the year
That's
is how
how
the
it
year
will
will be.
be.
Yes. So if I start by shereh, the whole of my year will be shereh. If I start
And
with
then you
chapati,
spent a bit of what was remaining.
what was, yes. So then, after a few days, after 6th, we are all broke. You have nothing. And as we have said, you're waiting for your mom. You know, there's this tendency, especially us in the towns. Okay? When we go to a country, you go with the shopping of like 2,000 or at most 5,000 because it's just in a paper. But when you are coming back,
Unakuja na gunia.
the gunia, yes, potatoes, maize, beans, there. And then at the end, you still ask your mom for fare.
Atauza kuku.
Ayauza kuku, nipate, nikifika Nairobi, nitakutumia. But you see, because as we have forgotten to say, no, this is me, and this is my life, and this is what I have. How can I live? How can I sustain my life with the small that I have? Knowing that most organizations, they pay people. The December salary, it comes like a week earlier. By 24th, 23rd, people are paid. And remember, that salary should take you up to end of January.
30th of January.
Up to 30th of January. But I think there's that tendency, like that's why I said, people forget and they think as I cross over to the new year, I'm going to get some cash that will start me the new year. And yet it's what you got last year that should keep you going to the next year.
From the mind education perspective, how do we navigate all this? Because like Pastor Almond has just mentioned about going to the village with I was talking to someone and was saying, we go to the village with a lot of junk and we come back with the gunias, like you've mentioned, with a lot of healthy foods. Who is fooling who? And who said, mkienda na vifurushi lazima murudi na gunia? And
I'll say the heart is fooling you because the heart is deceitful.
okay.
And I once came up across a quote saying that I have never seen anyone who is happy who does not know how to be thankful. You cannot be happy if you don't know how to be thankful. And being thankful does not categorize anything. You should either be thankful because of the bad things that happen to your life because you are to learn, or rather you can be happy because of the good things that you came up with. So most of the people, when things become worse, they start complaining and then they are jumping up and down. But let me tell you one thing. If you learn today, okay, let me quote one person that I really love. He's a writer. His name is William Shakespeare. And he said like this: fools think that they are wise, but a wise man knows that he's a fool. And that's why wise men, they always learn. They meet with Silas, they want to learn. They meet with Eunice, they want to learn. They meet with anyone, they want to learn. But fools, they think they know, so masikio yao imeingia tumawe. They cannot listen to anyone, they never learn from anyone. They will repeat the same thing time and time again. The people who are shouting because of, hey, you know, this is new year, you know, now cabbage, utaona tu emoji tumeanza kutumwa to cabbage zikicheka zikisema karibu karibu January. Just a way of consoling yourself. You're trying to console yourself because you know what you did. It happened to you last year. It is happening to you this year. It will happen to you next year because you can never learn. Why is it that you cannot learn? You think you know. And then the Bible also talks about one thing. If anyone thinks that he knows nothing yet as he ought to know. That's why we need to keep on learning. And the best way to keep on learning, you know, wisdom does not come from books. Wisdom does not come from the books that we read. Knowledge we attain from the books, but wisdom comes from God. And then true wisdom is to know your shortcomings. Why? The moment you know your shortcomings, then from that point you want to learn from other people. Your heart opens to learn from other people. Your ears open to learn from other people. The ears of the heart, they become open to learn from other people. But the moment that you think you're wise, you know, this wisdom, because I know I am lacking in this part, then from that point I want to learn from other people, and then I attain the heart of Christ. I start to esteem other people to be better than me. I get to see other people better than me. Look at the blame game that comes from families in that new year like today. Oh, it is you, Silas, who made us to do this plan. It is you, Eunice, who came up with this plan. Why are people now complaining and then they're playing games of blame games, blame games? They think it's them, but it started with Adam and Eve. The moment they realized that they made a mistake because of the desire in their heart, they started to blame each other. And then Adam was saying, it is the woman that you gave me. You know, the first time he did not call her a woman, he said, bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. He was so happy. But then when this happened, it is the woman.
You gave me.
Okay.
You gave me. And then the woman also says, it is the serpent. Now blame game comes in. The blame game comes in when we leave our maker. When we leave, we come out of the blueprint, when we come out of the manual that has to lead our hearts. But the problem is, you know, people left, and then from there they got into work. They are hewing themselves cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold any water. These broken cisterns, I saw Eunice having a good plan for the new year and for Christmas. Then I also, with my little things, I want to plan like Eunice, because I want to have this unhealthy competition that I told you, which is affecting many people. They think they're doing well, but it is weakening their heart. People who have a weak heart, they cannot make resolutions. People who have a weak heart, they cannot have a decision that they can follow. They always move with what comes. I had this resolution, now somebody comes with a better plan, I want to move to that. They cannot attain any dream because they have no dream. They move with any dream that comes their way because they have a very weak heart.
Wow. I want us to take a break, but before we go for a break, let me ask this question so that when you come back, you'll just start answering, maybe starting with you, Pastor Almond, putting you in the rim light. Forgive me, I'm also a church goer, I believe in God, but there is this notion of New Year, tukienda church, overnight kesha, we go write our New Year resolutions, we go write our goals, we write, you know, you're being manifested and being told that this is the year of urejesho, then come. I don't know what we expect when we hear this is the year of urejesho. We hear this is your year of prosperity. We hear, you know, once you as the man of God tell me this is your year of prosperity, man, ninaona prosperity. Prosperity.
Out of mistakes that you did.
Until
Trying to console
we
yourself.
come back after the break. Viewer, send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.